friends, guess who's back? My name is Olivier and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Minimal Monday. This week we will pick up after a 3-week long hiatus because I was overseas, and this will be Minimal Monday wrap up number 74. Lots to tell you, lots to share. A lot of new faces that submitted to this week's edition of Minimal Monday, which is awesome. Thank you for that, and I was very happy to see that even after a little 3-week pause, people were generously submitting their work again. So thank you all so much for supporting this team, and let's go over a few images here because I have a lot to share with you. My Fav of the Day award goes to Sean Onright. He photographed this kind of weird statue or building on top of a hill crest, long exposure photograph. But oh boy, is this a beautiful work. Very well processed, great choice on the long exposure technique usage, great light, great composition. This is a very beautiful photograph, and maybe this is not your classical minimal landscape. Maybe this is not your classic minimal landscape photography, but nonetheless, this is a very well photographed image. Again, everything sits right in this. Contrast is beautiful. This I think sits with the best of fine art photographers out there. Very well done, Sean. Thank you. I think you are a first-time submitter, and boom, immediately you get my Fav of the Day award. I'm looking forward to seeing more work of you. Thank you for submitting. This image by Richard Franco was for a very long time my favorite. Again, very simple image, a long exposure seascape. And what I like about this is Richard kind of simplified this scene in 3 elements, sea, sky, and pier. Great contrast to, Richard, kept the pier to kind of a deep black. Still has detail, but because of that deep black, it kind of has the impact that it deserves. And again, good lighting, good processing, good work. Awesome, Richard. I really like this image by Quincy Jefferson as well. Again, a long exposure seascape, or at least a waterscape, in color this time, which is really interesting. I like the color cast in this Quincy, the cool tones. They remind me of a particular photographer. I can't really come up with his name right now, but I'll try and see if I can come up with it. Maybe not during this video broadcast, but definitely in the comments later on. Again, great leading line towards the middle. I like the horizon line. It's deep black, and then the L shape kind of. It's a good image, and this would be an image that I would like to see big, because I can imagine how much detail there is in the pier, and the wood of the pier, like maybe mounted on aluminum or something. Really well done. And I really enjoyed the photograph Andy Lee posted this week too. Again, if you talk about S curves, this is an S curve. This is a very sexy photograph, in my opinion. Black and white, and it almost is like a simple, a simple streak of of ink. Andy shot this, photographed this in Iceland, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of his work from there. Great minimal tones, black and white, and that's it. It's a little bit of gray, but it's good contrast. Probably shot on a very gloomy day. Still, awesome work. This one I really like, too, by Michael Salmila. He calls this confrontation. It's kind of obvious, two rocks kind of fighting for attention almost, but still, it is very well composed. My eye just keeps jumping between the two rocks, and then the light part of the sky, kind of making a triangle, which is nicely encapsulated in the square. My eye never comes close to the border of the image, so that's good. I like the detail in the rocks. The grasses. This is really good. Thanks, Michael, for again posting this, and beautiful toning too. And this one by Didier Desmarais, I like too, photographed in the Netherlands. Again, we talked about this. The rule of odds. 3, 5, 7, 9 elements always work in a photograph, and you can debate about this. Either this is a 3 or a 5. 3 if all the sticks are one element, and then sea and sky, or the elements are all like 5 individual subjects. Really well placed. Again, leading lines, kind of the top part. The line almost starts in the corner, and just comes down, touching the tops of those sticks, whatever they are, and then the end, probably just below the center point of this square. Great long exposure photograph, Didier. And oh yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting Didier when I was back overseas, back in Belgium. Great guy. We photographed for about half a day in the streaming rain. I had to let my camera bag dry out for about 3 days after that. But it was good meeting him, and now I can put a face to a name. And I'm sure I will see him, in the future somewhere. What about this one by Rob Dweck? Again, maybe not your minimal or your classic minimal landscape photograph. Nonetheless, a very beautiful landscape photograph of a nice waterfall. What I like about this, and why I think this is kind of minimal, is because of the tonal range, right? You have lots of blacks, and then that one white main subject, the waterfall. Amazing contrast, good processing, interesting. How you kind of dodged around the rocks to bring out their qualities. Yeah, really, really, really good image. This would be something that I would like to have in my portfolio. Thank you, Rob, for sharing. And this was a very interesting image too, a very unusual image by Raul Barrios. Again, this is not again. This is photographed with a long telephoto lens, so it compresses kind of the landscape and introduce some haze to a scene, and you immediately get different plans, so to speak, different layers, and add to the fact that mountains are usually triangular shaped, and we know triangles are very strong shapes. Yeah, I like this. It's kind of probably the weird image or the weird one out in this wrap up, but nonetheless, I wanted to feature this because of its um, compositional qualities. Thank you, Raul, for posting. And this one I really enjoyed watching, looking at by Martin. This photograph by Martin Rack. Apparently, where he lives, or this is kind of an older image. It's still snowing. It's May where I live, and I'm looking at the window here, and I'm seeing the first signs of a good storm chasing season here, with nice clouds whipping by, and now I have to do this wrap up video. Otherwise, I would have been out chasing a couple storms or a couple clouds here. But nonetheless, beautiful image. Again, simple in tonality, lots of white, and great trees you found there. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Here's another odd one. Um, this one is by Christopher Stern. He photographed this with his iPhone. Now, people that know me, or who have read my blog in the past, is that kind of not like Instagram people, but nonetheless, us photographers have a very powerful tool in our pockets, and that's the iPhone or whatever smartphone you own. These little cameras are pretty good, um, and here's a great example of you could. Oops, let's turn these things off. Here's a great example by Christopher that proves you can use them to make good photography too. And an interesting square, great reflection, beautiful fog. A very simple scene, simple in tonalities too. Great to see your work, Christopher. I'd like to see some more. Thanks for adding this to the team. Christopher is another new face. So yeah, you know, I'm very happy that this team is you know seeing so many new faces this week. Um, Here's a great photograph by Benoit Janssen Renault. Japon numéro 5. He titles it. This is tack sharp. If you look at this full screen on Benoit's stream, you will kind of see that whatever these are, fishing nets probably, these are absolutely sharp. It's unbelievable. Um, really well done, long exposure seascape. Yeah, if you post more of these images, seems like I need to get my ass out to Japan soon. But again, I mean, here's the thing, right? There's so many rules floating around. For one, don't place your horizon in the middle, and I think this is like probably like the fifth image I shared with you today, but where the horizon is pretty much close to the middle. Um, it works, not always, but it does work. And again, this is a very simple photograph. There's water, there's sky, and then there's those fishing nets, and that's it. Three element, three. Wait, three. This is the American way, right? Three elements, or three elements. That's a European way. So three elements always work, and there's very little you can do wrong with three elements. And again, even the simplest of scenes require you to compose them correctly. It's not because you only have three elements that you can do whatever and it will turn out okay. No, you still need to compose. But once you start composing, there's a lot of different options you can, or a lot of different routes you can take. Good work, Benoit. Thank you again for posting. Here's another one from Japan by David Orr. At least I think it's from Japan. I know David lives there. Again, something very similar, probably fishing rods or fishing nets. Um, 3 poles. I've told you this before, right? 3, 5, and again, you can think of this as 3 poles or 5, sea, sky, 3 poles, or 3, sea, sky, and then 3 poles as a grouping. Great, good processing again. Dark sky, probably fog lifting, or a sunrise or something. Long exposure seascape. Um, the water is really nice in this one. It still has a little bit of detail around the poles, and I like the fact that David just offset those poles a little bit to the left, not bang in the middle. If this image was bang in the middle, it would be a little bit boring, I think. Um, but I'm glad David saw that and just decided to move it ever so slightly, and that's enough to make this image a little bit more dynamic. Good work, David. Now, if you do seascapes, it's not always necessary to do long exposures. And Fabrice Bellamy, proves this again. And here, again, horizon in the middle, right? Rule number 1 in beginner photography: don't put your horizon in the middle. Yeah, whatever, right? Placement of the rock is really good. I like the wedge shape too, how it is, leading your eye towards, the sky kind of, and all that detail in that water is, it gives you. If this was a long exposure photograph, it would have been kind of very tough to translate the size of that rock, because in fact it's like almost like a mini island, and I know this because of the size of the waves. So you could say that Fabrice added a sense of scale to this image, and I think that's always interesting to use a scale, because otherwise it could have been a long exposure of a rock, a small little rock. I don't know, right? Good work, Fabrice. Thank you for. This is probably your first time too. Your name doesn't ring a bell, so thank you again for posting. I have a couple more photographs to go. Here's another one where maybe I should rename this. Maybe I should rename this episode of Minimal Monday the "Let's Place the Horizon in the Middle" episode. This one is by Simon Dawson, and if that moon wouldn't be there in that top left corner, I would almost think that this was from one of our moon satellites or something, because this is like a moon landscape to me. Especially even, I mean, you can argue that crater, the bottom left corner is a little tight. And if you would have taken a few steps further to the right and leave it out, or make it kind of a centerpiece, it would have been a different image. Let's call it that. Not an interesting image, because I don't know what the scene looks like in real life. But here's the other thing, and it's kind of explain this, but there's a big triangle in this image that you can see if you go from that crater in the lower left corner and then to the horizon line to the right. You'll notice that there's a mountain range there, and there's some other stuff there, maybe a bridge or something. I don't know, like, and that line that little crater makes, the diagonal of it with the shadow, almost like directly points towards those mountains. And then you go back to the moon, and that's like your big triangle, right? It's a little tight, But I like this image. It's again a very simple image, and I just wanted to share that with the viewers too. That placing the horizon in the middle is is kind of becoming a theme for this theme. Um, and again, if the moon wouldn't be there, I would think this was a moon landscape. But the moon there, you kind of give that. You kind of put that idea in my mind because I kind of see the moon, I immediately link it to the foreground landscape too. So that's another interesting thing to do, and that's why I wanted to share this image too. Good job, Simon. This is probably your first submission too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, see you next week. And I want to conclude this image or this wrap up with the photograph Stefan Barle posted of this abandoned, rundown footing of what once was a pier or a bridge. Another great photograph. Lots of structure and lots of detail in this photograph. A beautiful tonality of in the crashing waves and the foreground sand and the structure itself. Good processing. I really like this. Again, horizon in the middle or thereabouts. So very interesting. Anyways, thank you again for adding your work, Stefan, to the theme. As always, very much appreciated. All right, I have 3 exceptions for you. First one is by Michael Zishang, and he photographed a telephone. But he's done it in such a way that I thought was very interesting. Very shallow depth of field, because the only thing that is sharp or tack sharp is the wire, the metal cable, whatever you call it. And since it's shiny, the light really curves around that object so beautifully. And then everything else is out of focus, kind of, but still the tones in the metal is absolutely beautiful. And if you guys can shoot metal surfaces, like stainless steel or whatever shiny, aluminum, chrome even, the larger the surface, obviously, the tougher it gets, to eliminate your own reflection. But if you succeed in that, there's almost nothing that compares to metal in black and white photography. Beautiful work, Michael. Thank you for posting this. And again, I mean, this theme is all about landscape photography, but that doesn't mean that you can't post anything else. If it's noteworthy, I will feature it. Just like this image by Ivan Cabrera. Again, a very it's an urban how do you call that style? Urban photography, urban something. Beautiful details again, lots of texture, lots of contrast, good exposure, keeping the detail in the shadow, and having detail in the highlights. Good composition. I really like that wedge shaped. I don't know what this is. I even think it is hollow almost, and the top part overhangs. If not, this image can really play tricks on your eyes, and that's why I like to feature it. All the lines and the gray, like the tonality is absolutely fabulous. And here's an image I wanted to conclude the wrap up with is this one by this photograph by Jeffrey Dunn. This is such an awesome image. I'll tell you why. First of all, blue and yellow, are kind of opposites. Well, they are opposite colors. Create polarization probably, or Jeffrey, you used a good polarizing filter to get the blue as blue. Um, but the two shapes, how Jeffrey composed this, the two shapes are kind of mirrored in each other. If you turn this image 180 degrees, it would still be the same shape, right? Yes, but the blue will be on the bottom, obviously. But this is a very symmetrical photograph, and the thing is also that um, the vertical again splits this image in two really well composed verticals, and if you take the left part of this and you turn it, you can almost make a yellow side and a blue side like that too. It kind of, anyways, the two, it's like the continental drift almost. It perfectly matches. It fits perfectly, and this is all composition. I mean, 5 feet more to the left or 5 feet more to the right, and you cannot do this. So, very well observed, Jeffrey. Very well seen. I had to feature this beautiful work. Thank you for adding this. There you have it, friends. This was Minimal Monday wrap up number 74. Again, I'd like to remind you guys of when you guys post to Minimal Monday to use the hashtag and to plus me. Just because with that new Google redesign stream thing with the three streams, it's now has become even harder to find images, and I don't really like that design. It's just too complicated. It's not complicated, but it looks complicated. And when I returned after my 2 week stint, I was surprised to see that redesign, and I was like, whoa, I didn't sign up for this. So I really don't. I do not like that the new look of it. I think it's with the menu that is popping out on the left side is definitely something to get used to. It looks maybe more hip or something, but I don't know what your thoughts on that is. But yeah, do let me know. I'm not a big. For now. I've been using it for a week or something, and I'm not a big fan. But anyways, so again, keep in mind posting, use the hashtag, and plus me in your post. That way I can get it. I get it directly on my iPhone, and I can catalog that email in a little folder, and then it just makes things a little easier. All right. Thank you so much again for watching and for supporting this team. And I guess I'll see you all next week.